They won't survive. You have to protect them. The voice echoed in the quiet room, but it wasn't a human voice. It was smooth, melodic, almost musical, yet filled with urgency. The walls of the spaceship vibrated with the tremors of deep space. Beneath the cold hum of the ship's engines, a small creature lay in the corner, its trembling body surrounded by tiny, glowing spheres of blue light. The creature was young, barely the size of a child, with bright, translucent skin, long, slender limbs, and eyes like liquid pools reflecting the stars outside. This wasn't Earth, not even close. The air felt different, heavier, but still breathable. What had seemed like an ordinary, quiet evening had spiraled into a mission of galactic proportions. Alex, a human like any other, stood frozen in the corner of the ship. His hand brushed against his forehead, slick with sweat. He had never been this close to the unknown. I don't understand. You want me to protect them? Why me? The alien, a tall figure with skin the color of shifting nebulae and an ethereal presence, tilted its head slightly. Its voice, though soft, carried the weight of millennia of knowledge. You are the one chosen, Alex. We could not save them alone. Their kind is too fragile in this form. Your hands are the only ones that can keep them safe. Alex's eyes darted back to the cubs, their tiny, delicate bodies curled into themselves, emitting a soft glow as they breathed in unison. They were beautiful and helpless, the future of a race older than anything humanity had ever encountered. But I'm just one man. What if I fail? What if I can't protect them? The alien didn't answer immediately. Instead, it slowly knelt down, its movements graceful yet purposeful. Failure is an option, but not trying is not. Alex swallowed hard, the weight of the moment pressing on his chest. He hadn't signed up for this. He hadn't asked for any of it. He was just an ordinary man, stuck in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yet, here he was, tasked with an unimaginable responsibility. His mind raced, trying to grasp the enormity of what had just been thrust upon him. Alien cubs, a galactic mission, and the knowledge that his every move now held the fate of a species in his hands. The alien reached out and placed its long fingers on Alex's shoulder, offering a quiet comfort. We will guide you, but you must take the first step. We cannot do this without you. A cold silence settled between them. Alex knew that this was the moment that would define everything. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the universe on his shoulders. I'll do it, he said, his voice steady despite the pounding of his heart. I'll protect them. The alien nodded, and for the first time, a small flicker of approval danced in its eyes. The future had just begun. Alex stepped forward, his feet heavy as if the weight of what he was about to do had already settled into his bones. He glanced down at the cubs, their delicate, shimmering bodies almost glowing in the low light of the spaceship. There were 5 of them, each one more unique than the next. Their forms were ethereal, as though they were made of the very stardust of the cosmos. But despite their beauty, there was an undeniable vulnerability to them. He could hear the alien's words in his mind. You are their protector now. You are their future. But how could someone like him, a mere human, ever be enough to safeguard such creatures? Alex had no idea what dangers lay ahead. His heart raced with uncertainty, but deep down, he knew he couldn't turn away now. The alien's figure slowly rose. Its eyes, deep as the void of space, seemed to pierce through Alex's every thought. They will grow strong, but only if they are kept safe. There are forces out there that will hunt them, Alex. You must protect them at all costs. Alex nodded, though he still didn't understand the full scope of what he had just agreed to. The alien stood still, its presence somehow calming yet intense. Where do I start? How do I protect them? He asked, his voice betraying a flicker of doubt. Follow the signal, the alien replied. It will lead you to those who can help. You are not alone in this mission. The alien stepped away from him, turning toward the far wall of the ship. The panel shimmered, and a section of the wall slid open, revealing a small chamber with an array of complex controls. You must go to the outer rim. It is there that the first trial awaits. Alex hesitated, his mind trying to catch up with the alien's cryptic instructions. The outer rim? Was that a place? A danger? Before he could voice his confusion, the alien placed a hand on the control panel. The coordinates are set. Do not waste time, Alex. The Cub's survival depends on your speed and resolve. A low hum filled the air, and the ship shuddered slightly, as though preparing for something immense. A moment later, the stars outside the ship seemed to shift, stretching and bending as the ship moved faster than Alex had ever imagined possible. The alien turned to him once more. Prepare yourself. The journey will test you. As the ship hurtled through the vastness of space, Alex could feel the tension rising in his chest. His mind raced with questions, doubts, fears. What was so special about these cubs? Why were they hunted? And who were these forces that the alien had spoken of? He glanced down at the cubs again. Their fragile bodies curled up together, their soft breathing creating a faint symphony of life amidst the chaos of space. They were innocent, pure. But in a universe so vast and unpredictable, innocence was a dangerous thing. Days passed, and the ship continued its journey. Alex took to his new role with a sense of quiet determination, though every step felt like a plunge into the unknown. The alien's cryptic messages kept echoing in his mind, but no answers came. One morning, as Alex sat in the observation deck, staring at the endless stars outside, a voice crackled through the ship's communication system. We are approaching the outer rim. Prepare yourself. A chill ran down Alex's spine. His fingers tightened around the armrest, and his breath quickened. The ship broke through a dense field of asteroids and debris, and in the distance, Alex could make out a sprawling planet, its surface covered in dark, stormy clouds. A place of chaos, a place where only the brave or the reckless ventured. This is where it begins, he muttered under his breath, his hand resting on the console. The ship slowly descended toward the planet, its sleek hull cutting through the turbulent atmosphere. As the ground came into view, Alex spotted what appeared to be ancient ruins, tall, jagged structures rising from the surface like skeletal remnants of a forgotten civilization. He shivered, a sense of foreboding settling in. The ship landed softly in a clearing near the ruins. Alex knew this was where he would find his first challenge. Before he could gather his thoughts, a new presence made itself known. A shadow moved across the clearing, a figure, humanoid but distinctly alien, cloaked in dark robes. Its features were obscured, but Alex could sense its power. The alien stepped forward, its movements fluid but deliberate. Its voice was deep, resonant, as though it echoed from the depths of the planet itself. You are not the first to come here, human, nor will you be the last. Alex's heart skipped a beat. Who are you? He asked, his voice steady despite the unease clawing at him. The alien smiled, a smile that seemed to stretch far too wide for comfort. I am one who has walked this planet longer than you can fathom. I've seen empires rise and fall. And now, I will see if you are worthy. Worthy? Alex echoed. Worthy of what? The alien didn't answer immediately. Instead, its gaze shifted to the cubs, still resting in the safety of the ship's holding chamber. Those you protect are no ordinary beings. They hold the fate of the universe in their hands. But if they are to survive, they must be tested. Alex stepped forward, his fists clenching. Tested? What do you mean? The alien's eyes flashed with a strange, knowing light. A trial awaits you, human. A trial that will challenge everything you believe in. The cubs will be at risk, and you must choose. Will you save them at all costs, or will you allow their potential to slip away? Alex felt his blood run cold. What kind of trial? The alien raised a hand, and in an instant, the ground trembled beneath them. A series of bright, swirling lights erupted from the ruins, coalescing into an immense creature. It was a massive, serpentine entity, its body covered in shimmering, metallic scales that reflected the chaos of the surrounding storm. The creature hissed, its eyes glowing with malice. It was a guardian, a protector of the ruins, and it wasn't here to play games. Defeat the guardian, the alien's voice rang out, and prove that you are worthy of the cub's protection. Fail, and they will fall into darkness. The stage was set for Alex's first real test. He had no idea how he would face this creature, how he would protect the cubs, or how he would overcome the overwhelming forces of the universe. But one thing was certain. He wasn't turning back. With a deep breath, Alex stepped forward, the weight of his new role settling more firmly on his shoulders. He wasn't just protecting the cubs anymore. He was protecting the future, and he would fight to the very end. The ground beneath Alex trembled as the massive serpent-like guardian, its metallic scales gleaming like molten silver, slowly coiled around the clearing. The air thickened with an energy Alex couldn't quite understand. Dark, powerful, and ancient. He could feel the creature's presence reverberating through his chest, its eyes locked onto him with cold, calculating malice. Without a word, the alien's voice echoed in his mind once more. You must fight, Alex. The cub's future depends on your strength. Use what you have. Trust yourself. The guardian hissed again, its long, segmented body winding through the air with unnatural grace. It opened its mouth wide, revealing rows of sharp, glistening teeth, each one as long as Alex's forearm. There was no time for hesitation. He had been chosen to protect these cubs, to guard their future. If he couldn't survive this, everything he had agreed to would be for nothing. Alex took a step back, his breath sharp in his throat. His hands were shaking, his mind racing to find something, anything, that could help him defeat the Guardian. He glanced back at the cubs, still safe in the ship. He couldn't let them down. The creature lunged forward, its body moving with the speed of a strike of lightning. Alex barely dodged in time, rolling to the side as the Guardian's jaws snapped shut with a deafening crack. Dirt and rocks were sent flying into the air, and for a split second, Alex felt the heat of its breath on his skin. His heart raced in his chest. He couldn't afford to make a single mistake. The Guardian reared back, ready to strike again, its body winding into a powerful coil. But Alex had seen something, a glimmer in the Guardian's movements, a pattern. It wasn't just a mindless beast. It was intelligent, a creature bound by rules Alex had yet to understand. Alex's training, his instincts, kicked in. He didn't have advanced weaponry or the strength of a seasoned fighter, but he had something else. He had his mind, and he had his determination. The Guardian lunged again, this time faster than before. But Alex was ready. He ducked, narrowly avoiding the creature's fangs. In that instant, he spotted a gap, an opening between the Guardian's armored scales, where the creature's underbelly was vulnerable. With a grunt, Alex reached out, his hand finding a jagged rock nearby. He gripped it tightly, a makeshift weapon. It wasn't much, but it was all he had. The Guardian swiveled, sensing his movement, but Alex was already moving, darting toward the creature's exposed side. In a desperate, almost reckless strike, Alex swung the rock with all the strength he could muster, driving it between the creature's scales. The Guardian recoiled in shock, its hissing screech filling the air, reverberating through the ground beneath Alex's feet. For a moment, the creature seemed stunned, confused. But it wasn't over. Not yet. With a speed that Alex hadn't expected, the Guardian twisted its body, knocking him off balance. He fell to the ground, the air knocked out of him as the serpent's heavy body landed with a thud beside him. The creature's eyes gleamed with a primal hunger, and Alex knew that if he didn't act fast, this would be his end. In that instant, a strange surge of energy coursed through him. It wasn't something he could explain, like a deep connection to something larger, something greater than himself. He realized then that the trial wasn't just about defeating the Guardian. It was about understanding it, about connecting with it in a way that went beyond physical strength. The alien's voice echoed again in his mind, softer now. The Guardian is a test, Alex. It will not fight to the death unless you make it so. Show it that you can protect the future, and it will see you for what you truly are. Alex closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and calmed himself. His thoughts cleared, and he felt the bond between himself and the Guardian, something ancient and unspoken. He stood slowly, facing the creature, which had now paused, as if waiting for him to make the next move. A voice, not the alien's, but something else, whispered in the back of his mind. Choose fight or understand. With renewed focus, Alex raised his hand, his heart racing. I don't want to fight. I want to protect, he whispered to the Guardian, even as it glared at him with suspicion. And then, something incredible happened. The Guardian's massive, serpentine body began to shift. Its aggressive posture softened. The eyes that had once glowed with a hostile red light now seemed uncertain. It was as if the creature, in all its ancient wisdom, had heard him, understood him. The ground rumbled again, but this time, it wasn't a violent tremor. Instead, it was a deep, resonant vibration, as if the planet itself was acknowledging Alex's resolve. The Guardian slowly bowed its head, a gesture of recognition. Alex's heart still pounded in his chest, but he had done it. He had passed the first trial, not through violence, but through understanding. The alien appeared then, standing beside him. Its presence was calming, almost like a wave washing over him. You have proven your worth, human, not through strength alone, but through your choice. The future of the Cubs lies in your hands. You are a protector, Alex, and this galaxy has need of such protectors. Alex let out a breath he didn't realize he had been holding. So, it's over? The trial? The alien nodded. The Guardian has tested you. You have passed. But there will be more challenges ahead. The galaxy is vast, and there are those who would seek to destroy the Cubs. The real journey is only beginning. As the trial ended, Alex felt the weight of the journey ahead settle onto his shoulders. His mind raced with questions, but one thing was certain now. He wasn't just a man caught in an alien world anymore. He was part of something greater. His purpose was clear: protect the Cubs, no matter the cost. And though the Guardian had been his first test, Alex knew it wouldn't be the last. His journey would take him across the galaxy, facing not only physical battles but moral dilemmas that would shape him into the legend the universe needed. The ship lifted off from the planet's surface, leaving the ruins and the Guardian behind. As Alex stared out the window, he couldn't help but wonder about the creatures he was now bound to protect. What were they really? Why were they so important? And most pressing of all, who, or what, would come for them next? The answers were out there, hidden in the stars, and he was ready to face whatever came. As the ship glided through the stars, Alex found himself reflecting on the events that had unfolded. He had come from a quiet life on Earth, never expecting to be thrust into a galaxy full of dangers, mysteries, and otherworldly creatures. Yet here he was, responsible for the future of alien Cubs, beings whose very existence seemed to hold the key to the galaxy's survival. The Cubs had changed since the first trial. They were growing stronger, their bodies emitting a steady glow that pulsed like the heartbeat of a living star. Alex had learned to communicate with them in his own way, sensing their emotions and needs. They trusted him, and he had become their protector in every sense of the word. The ship's navigational system pinged, signaling their arrival at a new destination, a planet called Zernath, a bustling world filled with intergalactic markets, cultures, and ancient technology. But there was no time for sightseeing. Alex knew that the forces hunting the Cubs were growing closer. As the ship descended into Zernath's atmosphere, Alex braced himself. He had heard rumors of the Zernathi, a fierce race of mercenaries known for their ruthless efficiency. They were the ones behind the attempts to capture the Cubs, and their leader, Zarak, was a name whispered in fear across the galaxy. The ship touched down in a hidden docking bay, its engines powering down with a soft hum. Alex felt the familiar weight of responsibility press on him, but there was no turning back now. The door to the ship slid open, and Alex stepped out into the alien landscape. The air was thick with the scent of exotic spices and the hum of activity. Creatures of all shapes and sizes bustled through the streets, some humanoid, others entirely unrecognizable. The Cubs, now resting peacefully in their protective cocoon, were safely hidden inside the ship. "Stay close," Alex whispered to himself, his hand instinctively resting on the weapon he had reluctantly taken with him, a plasma rifle given to him by the alien guide. He wasn't a fighter, but he had to be prepared for anything. As he navigated through the crowded marketplace, he sensed a presence behind him. His instincts flared, and before he could react, a group of cloaked figures stepped from the shadows, blocking his path. Zarak's voice broke the silence. "You have something that belongs to me." Alex tensed, his grip tightening on the weapon. The mercenaries weren't here to negotiate. They had come for the Cubs. "I won't let you take them," Alex said, his voice unwavering despite the fear twisting in his stomach. Zarak stepped forward, his face obscured by a mask, but the cold, calculating look in his eyes was unmistakable. You think you can protect them? You're nothing but a human. You don't understand what you're dealing with. I don't need to understand, Alex shot back. I'll protect them because it's the right thing to do. And I'll fight anyone who stands in my way. The mercenaries surrounded him, their weapons drawn, but Alex felt something stir within him, a spark of determination he hadn't known he possessed. This wasn't just about saving the cubs. This was about standing up to the darkness that threatened everything he had come to care about. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the marketplace. From above, a massive ship descended, its sleek hull reflecting the light of Zernatha's twin suns. The mercenaries looked up in alarm, but Zarak remained unfazed. I see you've brought reinforcements, Zarak said, his voice dripping with contempt. But it won't matter. The ship landed, and from it emerged a figure cloaked in brilliant, shimmering armor. It was another alien, but one whose presence radiated power and wisdom. The alien's eyes glowed with a strange, blue light, similar to the cub's glow. You are mistaken, Zarak, the alien said, its voice deep and resonant. The cubs are not to be taken. They are the key to the galaxy's future, and they will be protected, no matter the cost. Zarak's eyes narrowed. And who are you to stop me? I am Nira, keeper of the stars. And you have just made a grave mistake. In a flash, the alien, Nira, moved with blinding speed, disarming the mercenaries and sending them scattering in every direction. Alex stood frozen, his eyes wide as he watched the display of power. He had never seen anything like it. Zarak's face twisted in fury. You may have won this time, but the hunt will continue. The cubs are mine. Nira turned to Alex, their eyes locking. It's time. The cubs are no longer safe here. We must take them to the Nexus, the only place where they can truly be protected. Alex nodded, understanding the weight of those words. The Nexus was a legendary place, rumored to be a hidden sanctuary, a place where the fabric of the galaxy itself could be altered. It was the only hope for the cubs' survival. The journey to the Nexus was long and perilous, but Alex never wavered. Along the way, Nira taught him more about the cubs' purpose. They weren't just powerful, they were ancient beings, descendants of the first stars that had given birth to the universe. Their ability to manipulate the very essence of space and time made them the key to the balance of all life in the galaxy. But there were others who sought to exploit that power. Zarak wasn't the only one hunting them, and as they approached the Nexus, the dangers grew even greater. On the final stretch of their journey, the group was ambushed by an entire fleet of mercenaries, led by Zarak himself. The battle that ensued was nothing short of catastrophic. Ships clashed in the sky, lasers streaking through the air, explosions tearing apart the ground. Alex fought alongside Nira, using every skill he had learned to protect the cubs. But it wasn't just about fighting anymore. It was about protecting hope. As the battle raged on, Alex found himself face to face with Zarak in the ruins of an ancient temple near the Nexus. The two locked eyes, their final confrontation inevitable. You think you can stop me? Zarak sneered, his weapons glowing with deadly energy. I don't think. I know, Alex said, his voice resolute. The galaxy will be better off without you and your kind. With a final, desperate charge, Zarak lunged, but Alex was ready. The fight was brutal, a clash of wills as much as it was of weapons. But in the end, Alex's determination won out. With one swift move, he disarmed Zarak and stood over him, breathing heavily. Zarak's eyes burned with hatred. This isn't over. You can't protect them forever. Alex looked down at him, shaking his head. I don't have to. They'll protect themselves. And the galaxy will be safe because of them. The battle was won, but the war for the future of the galaxy had only just begun. As Alex returned to the Nexus with the cubs, he realized something profound. He was no longer just a protector. He was a leader, a symbol of hope in a galaxy that had long since forgotten what true hope felt like. The cubs had changed him. They had given him strength he never knew he had. Nira, now standing beside him, spoke quietly. You have become more than what you were, Alex. You are a part of something greater now. Alex nodded, a sense of peace settling within him. He had completed his journey. He had become a legend. And as the cubs grew and began to harness their full power, Alex knew that the universe had a new protector, someone who would defend its balance, no matter the cost. He wasn't just a man anymore. He was the protector of the stars, a beacon of hope for every being in the galaxy. And that, he realized, was exactly where he was meant to be.